Good evening, Macau and around the world. Welcome to the Global Tourism Economy Forum. My name is Wong Chun Wai, the editorial advisor of China Daily Asia Leadership Roundtable. Our guest is Mr. Tony Fernandes, the CEO of AirAsia Group, who needs no introduction. Welcome on board, sir, Tony. Okay,
Thank
Tony,
you, Mike. Good to see you.
good to see you, man. Tony, 2020 has been a turbulent year, but thank God it's coming to an end. And as they say that the end is near, there has been great positive news about vaccine being available soon in the coming months. Tony, now that the good news is here, what would the outlook be for 2021 as we gear ourselves to get out of this turbulence?
Yeah, I think it's much more than turbulence. I would have taken turbulence any. 2020 has been the worst year, I think, for the travel industry in probably the last 2 centuries. Yeah, be glad to be getting to the end of it. It's not ended. There's still a bit of work to do, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. I think number one, we have a vaccine. Number two, which I think is equally important, is that we're getting new testing methods. Testing, I think, is probably more important in the short term than vaccines, because vaccines will take a long time to be distributed out to the population and make an impact. But if you can test someone, breathe into something, and 30 seconds later, you know whether you have COVID or not, that's going to change dramatically for the travel and tourism industry. And finally, Donald Trump recovered. So there are medicines out there that can make you better, therapeutics, and obviously the antibody treatment is good. So those three things are going well. The fourth one, which shouldn't be underplayed, is the knowledge we have gained from this. There have been various outbreaks here and there, but they've been generally well controlled in Asia, second and third waves, because we know more about the virus. We know how to treat it. We are much more into public health. We all wear masks, we wash our hands, we generally social distance, So I think these four things mean that, the beginning of the end is starting. There's still going to be turbulence, but yeah, get rid of 2020. The faster, the better. I'm so preoccupied with vaccines and stuff. So that sets the condition for the outlook. We begin to get confident again. I think number one, people are not scared to travel. It's been very clear that air travel, etc., is not conducive to carrying coronavirus or passing on coronavirus. I think we've seen in the domestic markets, China, Thailand, Malaysia, that business is very strong, demand is very strong. And so we believe that, as borders begin to open, and we think Asia will be in the lead for borders opening, then travel will return to a pre-COVID level, probably, end of 2021. But I think in the June of next year, we begin to see more international travel. I think domestic travel, by February of next year, you're going to see levels going back to pre-COVID. So domestic will recover first, regional will cover next. And I see the beginning of regional travel starting to recover in June of next year.
That's great news. Tony, China would probably be one of the first group to travel, and that they have done very well in coping with the pandemic, and that they have managed to almost wipe out the numbers. Of course, AirAsia has got many routes to China, and I can see that China would be the first number of travelers to come to Malaysia and Indonesia once the boundaries are open. How is AirAsia getting ready for this first group of people who will be leaving China?
Yeah, obviously we know China very well. We're probably the airline that flies the most to China from Southeast Asia, from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Malaysia. And we're excited to start. The good thing about AirAsia is we're not only just taking Chinese tourists, we bring a lot of people to China. So that will help the Chinese tourism industry as well. I think we're gearing up, for safe travel first to make sure governments feel that we are doing the right things. We recently got an award from the Chinese government for all our efforts in COVID. We were voted the safest airline by an Australian regulator just recently. So we've transferred a lot of our stuff to contactless. We obviously work with all the authorities for contact tracing. Our aircraft are disinfected, PPE is worn by our crew, and we have really worked hard on making sure that even all your vaccination certificates are put into our app. So a combination of app, vaccinations, contact tracing, contactless travel, I think is part of our preparation. On top of the fact that we are preparing tourism products, so people will know where they're going, so it can be monitored. I think that's important. So we have effectively become a travel agent. So we will package your hotel, we will package all the activities, so authorities will know where the tourists are as the initial travel starts. I think groups will be more liked as opposed to FIT. And so in the first instance, we're preparing for safe travel. The second instance, for group travel, so that authorities know where people are.
Tony, do you think that the COVID passport that's been talked about, would it help?
Yeah, I think it would. I mean, if you go back, Chunwai, you're old like me. We used to have those yellow documents from the World Health Organization, which is effectively a health passport. For malaria, for various, you had to prove you had various vaccinations. I think we don't need an international one. I think airlines such as AirAsia has already built it. It's already in our app. So you just have to upload your vaccination or your test results into our app. I don't think we're going to get away without showing those to authorities in the short term, just like we did for malaria. I don't think we need a global health passport. I think, airlines or travel companies can build their own apps which can show the authorities.
So Tony, obviously that the pattern of traveling in pre-COVID would be gone completely. As we move on to post-COVID, we'll talk about apps to check in, apps to get ourselves cleared, so there'll be no long queues, that kind of traveling. In terms of traveling for airlines, would it be like those pre-days when we sit in the economy class with 3 person in a row, or do you think that the number will be reduced?
No, I don't think air travel on the plane will change at all.
Okay.
We've been carrying full planes, 3 seats on each aisle, so 6 in a row. And we have 3 or 4 things that prevent coronavirus from spreading in the airline. One is we ensure masks have to be worn during the flight.
I see. Okay.
We have our air circulated every 20 seconds, and there's something called a HEPA filter, which clears out viruses anyway. So if you look at all the IATA statistics, there's been virtually 0, maybe 3 or 4 potential coronavirus being transferred on the plane. So I don't see that changing. I think actually COVID has ensured airlines to work closer with airports. Airports have generally been the problem in trying to make things easier. Mm-hmm. But now no airport can block us when we want to do contactless travel. And so I think in the long run, it's going to be easier to fly because we have data. Everyone knows about you when you come in. In AirAsia, by next month, you will check in with your face. You will print your boarding pass with your face. You will go through our boarding gate with a face. You'll be greeted by our cabin crew who will know about you because we have cameras you coming onto the plane. And so I do think in a strange way, COVID will make it more pleasant. I think we'll have less queues. Maybe security queues will still be the same, but hopefully even that in time. And I think as we get into this more data revolution, when you arrive in Malaysia, people will know about you anyway. And so we think passport queues are a matter of days, months away from eradicating, and you just walk through with your face because all the checks have been done prior to your arrival.
So this is what AirAsia has been preparing itself for the past few months, getting ready for the reopening of the sky, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've been working on it for a long time, to be honest,
Mhm.
but we had lots of roadblocks from airports.
Yeah.
But now, because of COVID, airports are very, very supportive. So we can really push ahead with this new digital travel.
Tony, in the aviation industry, a lot of people talking about that for short haul airlines like AirAsia that travels to 4 hours, 5 hours of traveling will be the ones that will benefit the most once the skies are open, because people are still not quite ready to travel on 14 hours flight or 22 hours flight. But for 4 hours, 5 hours, well, they'll be first to try it out. Do you think that Asia will be among the first that will benefit from this traveling
Well,
experience?
I think AirAsia is. We're in the right space. I'd rather be AirAsia than Singapore Airlines right now,
Yeah.
only because I think business travel is going to be affected for a while. Zoom has changed the way
Yeah.
people work. Do you need to travel 14 hours when you can have meetings on Zoom?
Mhm.
The world has continued to work with apps such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams. And I think you're right. People are not only being on a plane for 14 hours, which I think is safe, but traveling to another country, another continent. Europe and America still has very high incidence of coronavirus. So I think it's more likely people are going to fly to Phuket or Shenzhen or Macau, which is my favorite place, than going to Los Angeles or London. So I think AirAsia is in the right space because we don't have business class. We don't really rely on business travelers per se. We're more leisure and small businessmen. We're very regional. Our maximum flight is about 3.5 hours. So I think we would be one of the first to recover. And obviously, with economic conditions being they are, people are going to try and save money and fly on a low-cost airline. A whole big boon in private jet traveling.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of people who want to avoid airports, who want
Yeah.
to, be in their own plane. So that's going to boom. I think those are the guys who probably run on first class. Will probably spend a bit more to go on a business jet. And I think there'll be new models coming out of kind of, smaller capacity planes in smaller airports. And then I think there'll be a resurgence of low-cost carriers.
Would traveling be more expensive than previously?
For AirAsia, our philosophy is no. We want to. There are many reasons for it to be lower. Fuel price is lower. Uh, Costs are going to be lower because we're renegotiating leases. We have new salary scales. We've had to cut costs a lot. So we don't want to put fares up. But there are other factors such as testing and vaccinations and all of this other stuff, which may add to the cost of travel. But from AirAsia, we're going to work very hard to keep fares low, and we believe we can. I think one of the benefits of COVID also is that many carriers have been subsidized, and that's put artificial pricing. I think I've dealt with two sorts of unfair competition. One is state-sponsored subsidies, and the other is these digital companies where they get massive amount of capital and use it to kill everybody. I think on the airline side, for the first time, we are seeing a pretty good competitive marketplace and fair competition.
Tony, we know that we want to keep the AirAsia flying. I really can't wait to fly on AirAsia, and that for most airlines that they have been struggling with the cash issues and having to deal with bankers. But I really want Asia to be around. As we get ready to fly again, in terms of
So do I, by the way.
yes, and we all can't wait to get out. I'm tired of sitting home. Okay, but
Yeah.
how has all these airlines, including Asia, been has been coping with this financial situation at the same time?
I'd say it's a nightmare, right? Yeah, we've had to adjust. We've repivoted our business. We are, and I'll talk about that in 1 second. But on the airline side, we've restructured. We've had to, very sadly lose some people.
Yeah.
It is incredibly sad because these people did nothing wrong, and my job is to make sure I try and hire everyone back and regrow. We've had to reduce our cost structures. We've had to look for temporary financing. which as yet we haven't got, but we're coming to that position soon. And we've survived, and I think we'll come out stronger, but not without a lot of pain that we've gone through in this year. But I always say never waste a crisis. There are many things we couldn't do before that we've been able to restructure in the airline business to reduce our cost structure, and it's almost like starting again.
Yeah.
It's like the snakes and ladders game. I started this airline with 2 planes.
Yeah.
I grew to 245, and I'm back to 2 planes. So it's almost back to square one for me. You go in snakes and ladders, you go to square 97, and then that snake brings you all the way down to square 3. But it's okay. We're tough. We take it positively. We're not crying about it. We're going to come back stronger. And we've used this opportunity to learn from Chinese companies such as Meituan and WeChat, and also, great companies in Southeast Asia like Gojek and Grab. And we've created a super app because we've got incredible assets called data. And so we're building a digital bank. We've got our own platform. We're doing e-commerce. I'm a delivery guy. So if you order on the 14th of December, I will come and deliver food to your house.
All right.
I'm taking my bike license as we speak. So yeah, we haven't been sad, except for losing staff, and I'm determined to get them back. But we've tried to turn this massive crisis into a positive.
Yeah, I think you will do it, and I believe in you, Tony.
Thank you, man.
Tony, that all these airplanes that have been grounded in the US, I think that they're grounded in some desert. Okay, all these planes that are not flying. How do you get themselves ready for the coming months and coming years?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's been some press about pilots not being safe and aircraft. There's no worry there at all. That's pilots don't get let out until they do a lot of simulation, and these guys have done hours and hours and hours. So that's not an issue. In terms of maintenance of the planes, they've been very well maintained. You will see a lot of old planes being decommissioned. You saw it in 9/11. You'll see a lot of airlines getting rid of their old aircraft. The 747 is finished. A lot of those older aircraft will be decommissioned. But no one should be worried about whether a pilot is safe or not. No airline will let them back on without the required checks in the simulator, etc.
Tony, I'm trying to imagine what flying will be like again. I've almost forgotten. When I travel on AirAsia again, I want to order my nasi lemak and my Hainan chicken rice. Would food still be served on board?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we're doing limited service, but we're restarting now. We feel quite comfortable. Again, a lot of it will be contactless now. You can order. We'll be one of the first airlines in the world. You can order your food from the seat, from your mobile phone. We now have Wi-Fi in most of our aircraft. You'll be able to order from about February time directly from your seat, and the crew will bring it to you. So we have also we've continued. We will still do bar service. So. The crew will walk through, but all the food is hygienically cleaned, and we're passing it to you in a plastic bag and gloves, so pretty safe. Yes, we'll be able to get your chicken rice and nasi lemak.
Awesome, ready. Okay, Tony, we're going to wrap it up soon. We have some final words from you about the tourism industry and the aviation industry before we conclude?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been through this. Everyone's predicting doom and gloom. Like Jane's son at trip.com, we are optimists. We know people want to travel. You just said it. You're dying to get out.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to travel. Travel's going to come back in a big way. The world is a globalized world.
Yeah.
I can't wait to start flying to Macau, which is a very special place for me. I was the first airline from Southeast Asia to fly to Macau, and the Macau airport authorities and government have been great to us. I can't wait to start flying to all those cities in China, and making the world a smaller place. So I don't think travel is going to change tremendously. It's not the end of travel. Even first class and business travel will come back. Humans are a tough lot. Yes. We forget as quickly as we remember, and people need to have leisure time. So it will come back. And I believe after 9/11, everyone said travel was dead.
Yeah.
No one's going to travel, security. We had the best years of our life after 9/11. It will come back strongly, and we'll get you flying again.
I can't wait to fly on AirAsia to Sichuan. I need to go there very badly.
Yeah, I miss that food, and I
And,
miss the baijiu as well.
and only AirAsia flies Malaysians to Sichuan direct.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Tony, for
Thank
joining
you.
us
Thank you to
tonight.
everyone in Macau. Stay safe. Hope
Yep.
to see you on the AirAsia plane, and thank you, China Daily.
We will fly together to Macau, okay?
Done.
Thank you everyone who is joining us tonight to this Global Tourism Economy Forum. Thank you very much, Tony, and good night.